not from Amarillo originally. In fact, I've only been here a short time, but really fell in love with the place and really want to make some positive changes. Learning a lot through the process.
What place did you say you run?
Place 3.
Place.
Against who?
What's that?
Against the candidate?
Oh, this guy right here.
No, not against me.
We're running together.
We're running together against Dr. Eddie Sauer.
Tom's a great guy, and yeah, we're going to take out Eddie Sauer, one of us. So.
I was asking a question. You said you liked Amarillo. Why?
The people here are just amazing.
Was just the people?
That's part of it. You know, I'm from 4 hours down there. I'm from Albuquerque originally, but we got here in just the beginning of February of last year, and we came down in December to visit some family, and we were here probably about 5 days, and we were getting ready to make a move, and we said this is where we're going to come. So we love the weather here. Very spontaneous, much like where I grew up in Albuquerque. And really, the first day, I tell everybody this story, the first day that I was here, I had to go to the Social Security office and to go get my driver's license. The two of the worst places anybody ever wants to go, and the people there were just so friendly, and that kind of just set the tone for our stay here. So love it, probably be here for a long time.
Do you like our education system?
Relatively speaking, it's better than Arizona's. I've lived in Arizona for a short time.
I lived in Albuquerque. I didn't like their education system.
Yeah, it's better than New Mexico's.
Right.
My kids are doing really well in school here. I've got a teenager, 10-year-old, and an 8-year-old, and they love the schools, and they're all doing great. So yeah, I don't really have any complaints with that at this point. Any other questions?
Thank you. I'm Tom Ward 2. Nice to see all of you guys. I am actually running for Place 3. I'm running with Brad. We're running against the incumbent, and either one of us would appreciate your vote. I would really appreciate it, but Brad would appreciate it too. So at the end of the day, hopefully, if one of us doesn't win outright, hopefully we will have the incumbent get to a runoff, and then we're going to support the other one all the way down the line so that maybe we can actually make a positive change. Amarillo needs a lot of things. It needs a lot of attention. It needs some new ideas. It actually needs a voice of reason. It's my opinion on the council. It needs somebody that has true values, that supports a fresh idea. And a fresh idea doesn't just reside in one part of town. Amarillo covers the whole city limits. So that's the way I feel. That's what I support. I support people that actually support our community, and I appreciate your vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Williams. Kip Billups.
Hi guys, I'm Kip Billups. I'm a candidate for mayor, and I was born in Mount Pleasant, Texas. I went to high school in Borger, and in '97 I joined the Navy out of Amarillo. My grandmother had asked me to move back about 3 years ago. She's 99 now. I do not take care of her. She can take care of herself, but I want to spend some more time with her. When I came back, I saw a need with the homeless as far as feeding, and I wanted to be able to make a connection with people. It's not even about the food. It's about making them feel like real human beings, like they're of value, like they mean something. And when I got involved with that, shortly thereafter, Mayor Nelson criminalized homelessness, which is against the 8th Amendment, which I'm kind of fond of, cruel and unusual punishment. I pitched a tent on the steps of City Hall for 15 days. The second day I was arrested, and the next day I was back. A month later, I was arrested, as many of you know, for clapping by the mayor at a public City Hall meeting. If you want change, I'm probably your guy. I'm looking at 3 years in jail right now. Disturbing a meeting, blocking a passageway for clapping, blocking a passageway with the tent, and I was cited for stealing electricity for having my sleep apnea machine plugged into an outside unmarked outlet at City Hall. So if you're tired of the status quo, if you want to see some real change, this is what I'm looking for. I want single member districts. People in your area should be representing you. The way the elite can control, I believe, can control what's going on is by picking select people and putting them in power. Our entire, am I talking too much? I have that tendency. All the incumbents, 2 years ago, 250,000, is that correct?
Yes.
The political action committee known as Amarillo Matters put up $250,000 to get 5 people with no experience at all in politics in there. And guess what we get? We get 4 city council members and a mayor who vote 5-0 on 95% of everything that comes up to vote. It's almost like someone's telling them how to vote. If you want real change, I'm probably going to be your guy. If you don't pick me, pick Claudette. Do not pick the incumbents. Remember, there's 4 city council people, there's 1 mayor. We need a majority vote to make these changes. So it takes 3. You don't have to pick me, but it takes 3. Thanks for letting me talk. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Trevor?
I'm gonna come around here because
That's totally fine.
my name is Teresa Harper and I'm running for City Council, place 2. And what got me to running for City Council was looking back at everything that's happened in Amarillo since I've been here. I moved here 2.5 months before 9/11. So all of my 9/11 has been in Amarillo, at post-out 9/11. And when I first moved here, I remember the news stations always used to say that we're a big city with small town attitude. I thought, that's great, you know, because it felt like that. Like it's homey, it's got a sense of community. You know, everyone's like good to each other and says hi to each other and they're friendly and it's like things have just shifted and now it's like it's not the whole city anymore. Now it's the southwest and downtown. You know, and I mean I've lived in the north side of town pretty much the whole time I've lived here. I lived, like I was telling her, I lived in East Ridge for 1 year. I lived in San Jacinto 6 years. I lived in Pleasant Valley, and I've lived in North Heights.
So where are you now?
I am about to move right behind Emerald College.
Oh, are you?
So
But you've been in North Heights.
I lived on, I guess it's considered North Heights, on Heather right there across from Wonderland Park. Right by the Thompson Pool. That's where my kids used to go swim, was Thompson Pool.
It's
Park.
Hamlet.
That's right, Hamlet.
Yeah. No problem.
Sorry. North area
Yeah.
part, but,
I'm not correcting you, I'm just letting you know. Yeah. I knew you knew where it was.
the north part of town. Anyway, I lost my train of thought. It's okay. It's not hard for me to lose my train
I
of thought.
understand.
But one thing that I think about when I think about running for office is that it seems like Kip was saying, that all the city council members just rubber stamp everything.
Sure.
Whatever's brought up, they just rubber stamp it. Well, I'm not a rubber stamp person. You know, I want to know, why is this a good idea? Why is this something we need to do? You know, and I'm not going to just rubber stamp something because somebody said it's a good idea. I'm going to find out why. I'm going to learn about it. I mean, I'm always learning. I'm a mostly self-educated person, and I'm always trying to find out the whys of something. So I hope you'll consider voting for me because I'd really like to make a difference in Amarillo.
Yes, ma'am.
Can we
Thank
take another minute and talk about Panhandle Days?
Panhandle?
In Austin. So,
I haven't gone to. If she's
Were
been,
you there, Claudette?
I'll let her talk about that because I didn't go to that. So.
Teresa,
Thank
may I
you.
ask you a question since you're...
Sure. Me or her?
No, you.
Okay, yeah, sure.
On the curbside carts, did you ever have a position on curbside carts?
I do have a position on curbside carts. I think it's a ridiculous policy. But unfortunately, they have already spent the money. We already have the carts. So what I would like to do is to go and review it and see if we can find a way for the people who don't want it to opt out. And those who are happy with it, keep it. Because we've already got the trucks, we've already got the carts. You know, if they want it, keep it. If nobody wants it, then nobody gets it.
You're talking about the trash?
The trash carts.
Trash carts?
containers.
Yeah, they're taking
We
up the
already paid
dumpster.
for it.
It's already paid for. I mean, I think it would be kind of a waste of money just to throw it out.
No, we can use it for recycling.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, proper recycling. not-
Well, if I
But
could
I mean,
ask-
I just would like, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say that I have the answer, but I would like to look at it.
well, I
and
have
find a
question
good
on
solution
that.
for everybody.
And this is for all you guys, all you might be able to answer this to some capacity. How are they deciding who gets them and who doesn't?
They're-
Easements or what?
Well, what they're saying is that it's the houses that don't have an alley at all, houses whose
Have
alleys have a
easements,
dead end, or are too narrow for the trucks, and that they're having to get off on people's property and things like that.
Sure.
And one of the things that they said about the cart program that I actually really detest is that, I mean, on the surface, it sounds good because the people who can't physically take their carts to the curb, that they'll come and get them from, say, beside your garage and take them out there, but they're gonna charge you like $30 or more a month, depending on how long your driveway is. Now, the people who can't take their carts to the curb are your elderly and your disabled. So we're going to charge the people who can least afford it more money to get the help they need.
Yeah.
And the reason that they gave for it was to pay for workman's comp. Don't they already have workman's comp?
Sure.
So,
Can they do an application to be exempt?
I don't know that they have that now, but yeah, I don't think they have
But
that.
that can be done.
What was the
But that's
question?
something that I'd like to look at and see if we can, how we can make it so that it's better for everyone, because I've seen some houses that don't have the alleys, and I could understand after looking at them, grasp why they might want the cart. I can get it. If they were putting a bag on the side of the street, okay, I can get why the cart would be better than that. But if you're taking the dumpster away and giving them a cart, you know, that's kind of like, I mean, I've lived in towns where had the trash cans and stuff before, and I moved out west, and I saw that Tucumcari had it and Amarillo has it, and I thought, this is fantastic. I love the dumpsters. And now they want to me, it's regressing back instead of moving forward.
May I make a comment? The city came back on their comment, and Eddie Sauer backed off on being made aware that the city was not using those three. They were using easement as another definition.
Yeah.
If your alley is not an alley but an easement, they will still put you on a cart system because an easement gives authority to the property owner to move into the easement area. And that is what Floyd Hartman is using as justification. Even though you have a wide easement,
Right.
they will still put a car through your house because they have segregated that part of their city.
Well, I personally think that they're really what they really want to do is give it to everybody.
Yes. that's-
Especially after at the High Plains Republican Women's Ginger Nelson was asked about it, and she says, well, you know, if in 2045 everyone has these cards, then maybe you can come back and tell me that I was wrong.
Too
Why
bad.
would she even suggest that if she wasn't planning it? So, I mean, I think that's what they're going to find little excuses over and over time and give them to everybody, is what I think they're doing. I can't prove it, not yet.
That's the question.
Well, they have rules and
Yes.
regulations that they're going to enforce with ordinances to make certain that the person puts the card out the day before or the day of trash collection, and in the morning after has to bring it back to wherever they're going to store it. I've already seen it in the neighborhoods where they're leaving them out on the curb. And they are not going to follow the rules in the less cooperative neighborhoods. They're going to have a lot of trouble with these carts not going where they're supposed to go. And I don't think they can enforce any ordinances in Amarillo, Texas. So you have to have, as a candidate, I think you better look at ordinance enforcement in Amarillo. If you're going to create something, make certain you can enforce it.
I agree.
I hope you as candidates will look at that.
Thank you. Yes.
Interestingly enough, I've got one of those trash carts, and I hate it. But we've got that our block or our strip down through there, our street. They went ahead and they pulled all of the dumpsters out. There were dumpsters that were on the side streets, and then the main street through there, it was all curbside pickup. So there was a man that was going to run for place 2. His name was John Adair. His name is John Adair. And anyways, they came and they pulled John Adair's dumpster behind his house. There were all of these mattresses, building material, and tires and all that stuff piled up back there. So he called the city. He said, "Hey," he said, "this stuff was left when they pulled my dumpster. What do we do about that?" And the city told him, said, "It's your responsibility to move that stuff out there, or you're going to be fined for it. So it's not just as easy as the dumpsters leave and you get a trash cart and everything. There is all of this huge, copious amount of mess. We're talking about 12,000 trash carts in these 3 phases that they're talking about right now that they've got planned. So you're talking about 12,000 trash carts, which represents 12,000 water meters, and all of these dumpsters behind these properties that have stuff piled around. And so the city is going to penalize those people for having that stuff in their property when it's not even their stuff. So
Well, you
after
mentioned-
promising to pick it up.
You mentioned that you actually have one. Is there a number system tied to your address somehow? There is. So is it your address on the container?
It's tied to your water meter. So they actually have a barcode on the trash cart that's tied to your water meter. So if something happens with your trash cart, say your neighbor steals your trash cart or whatever, they can come with their scanner and scan it, and they know who it belongs to, or I guess if it's involved in a homicide or something.
If it blows down the street.
What I'm getting at is I wonder if something happens to your container, are you responsible for, replacing it yourself?
I've heard so many different things. I've heard
Yeah.
that they provide you with one and then the replacement is on you, but then at the meeting that they had the trash being over there, they said, oh, no, no, no. But then my wife, when they were putting the trash carts out, the gentleman that was putting the trash cart out, he said, we only provide one. From there, it's on you. So I don't know. What's the life expectancy of a plastic trash cart in Amarillo, Texas?
Definitely.
May I
Well,
make
thank you, guys.
another point?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
I talked to the city, and the city said they will provide an additional trash cart if you can prove you have a need for it. The city will provide you with 2. I talked with a guy out of Canyon where they use the trash carts. He uses 3. I said, did you have a dumpster there? He said, yes, we had a dumpster, but the city forced us into trash carts. Now, the cart man has to pick up 3 carts in front of my house, whereas before he was picking up 1 dumpster for 4 houses. The practicality for council members would be, it's a dishonest savings to go to curbside carts with the argument that the alley can't be dealt with, that they don't have alleys, and that they have the dumpsters out on the curb. They used to have right loading trucks, and they moved to left loading trucks. That was in the early days when they got rid of the garbage cans. They went with right loading carts, so they were loading off the curb, following in the traffic flow. They went to the left loading, which made them compromised to cut across traffic. So I hope you guys will bring it up that this sanitation guy is selling our council members a bill of goods.
Don't worry, we will.
I hope that will be in your campaign, that this is some of the nonsense with the truck not being able to go down the alley and pick up the trash around the dumpster. That nonsense. Whether they're supposed to pick it up on the curb, they're not doing it.
We've got another speaker.
Thank you, guys. So Claudette Smith is next.
Hi everyone, I'm Claudette and I'm running for mayor against Ginger and Kit Billups here. I was born in Dallas, Texas, but I moved to Amarillo when I was about, 5 or 6, and I've been here ever since, so I guess you could say I grew up here. I'm running for mayor mainly because I disagree right now with a lot of how things are being done with our leadership, and I feel there needs to be a big change. And so my journey started when I started going to council meetings because of an ordinance violation, actually several ordinance violations behind my home. I was speaking with city officials for about a year prior to even starting to go to council meetings, trying to get those ordinances resolved and fixed. Well, I was not successful with the city officials, so I started going to the council meetings thinking that would make a difference. Well, I spent about a year doing that, attending council meetings every single week, and they just were not listening to me. I mean, nothing was being done. I was just outright being ignored with everything that I said, every complaint I made, every law, every ordinance I brought up. It just this blank deer in the headlights stare at me like, well, what do you want us to do about it? And so while I was there doing that, I noticed that there was a lot of other citizens who were approaching the podium, and they were talking about issues such as homeless and the trash carts and things like that. And so I just thought, these issues are so much more important than what's going on behind my home. So I just felt the need. I felt that I was put there for a reason to stay there and fight for everybody else. So I just started fighting for every cause that I aligned with, and I stuck around for the last year, and that's kind of what I've been doing. And I got so frustrated from watching this council do nothing. They did absolutely nothing, not for anyone, not one single person that stood at that podium every week and made a speech and had a complaint or questions or, inquiries about just anything. It didn't even have to be a complaint, they just outright ignored them. And so I decided that I wanted to go ahead and run for mayor, and I want to do things differently. So that's kind of where I am today. Someone had asked a question about Panhandle Days. I went to Panhandle Days in Austin. I did not attend that actual event. I went to Austin by my own decision, on my own personal funds and my own personal time, because I found out at the council meeting that Tuesday, I heard the mayor and council speaking about the tax reform, and Ginger was calling it an inequality issue. She was trying to explain that there are other cities who have kept their tax rate low, and so we've raised ours all the way almost to the ceiling. And so she calls it an inequality issue because we don't have any room to move if they put that cap, but these other cities can move theirs. So it's an inequality issue. And that led me to believe that she was against the tax reform, and that, she was speaking about having been in Austin the day prior and leaving information with Speaker Bonin about this inequality issue. And it bothered me. It bothered me because I understood that they were going down there for Panhandle Days, which is funded by our tax dollars, to my knowledge, and we were going to pay for them to go down there and basically lobby against the tax reform. And I was like, we can't have that. Somebody has to be there to represent the citizens of Amarillo, the real voice of the citizens, and not the leadership who wants to be able to raise our taxes. So I decided I was going to go down there and I was going to talk to all these representatives myself. And so that's what I did. I took a little suicide trip, and I left at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't get back until about 10 or 11 at night. And the feedback that I received from all of the reps and senators that I spoke to was basically they said that, yes, our municipality was against the tax reform. That's the feedback they had gotten from people coming into their office, and they were shocked. They were shocked that I was running in a municipal election and that I was there in support of the tax reform. They were shocked by it. And I understand that because there are a lot of city leaders who have been visiting Austin and complaining and whining and crying about this tax cap because they don't want it, because it limits them on raising the taxes and their budget and their spending habits and things like that. So that was interesting, but I feel that me going there was a huge accomplishment because I was able to make the voices of the citizens here in Amarillo heard rather than what our city leadership wanted. And so I would say that trip was definitely successful. In regards to the trash carts, I disagree with them. I think that was a huge waste of money. I think that there's a small portion of the city that has the curbside service, and I think that those are probably the only people who would benefit from that. From what I'm understanding, the reason behind the trash carts was because there was arguments between neighbors as to why do I have to have the dumpster in my front yard? It looks ugly. I feel that a different approach could have been taken there, such as hold several town halls and discuss what the real issues were, get down to the root of it, and come with solutions. There's plenty of statesmen in this city that could have come with solutions as to what we can do other than just taking on this huge expense to get all of these trash carts. From what I understand after reading the articles and getting feedback from the department head of sanitation, they do plan at some point to implement these all throughout the city. That is their plan. I was told that by Raymond Lee. And, that's a problem because we're used to our dumpsters. People from other cities, I see them comment online and they say things like, we have these here and they work out just fine. Well, when you're used to a big dumpster and you live in Amarillo, Texas, we're a different breed here, To rip our dumpsters away is a lot. And we're the people who have to live with that every day. So that was a situation among many that I think that this mayor and city council have jumped the gun on. They got the cart before the horse on that decision.
Well, one thing I would like to ask on that, no one's taking into consideration all the jobs that are going to be lost, in that department, driving those trash trucks. How many jobs are going to be lost? I haven't even heard that come up on, in the news or anything like that. And so that might be a good point for you guys to bring up to some capacity as well. So one of you guys might know this, I don't know if we're a charter city or not. And from what I understand, with charter cities.
We're a home rule municipality, is what we are.
Okay.
A home rule municipality, that's what we're considered.
Okay. I just didn't know which one we were. 'Cause the way I understand it is when you're a charter city, you can actually set your own salary however you want as a city official. Not you guys, but those folks up there. Yeah. So.
Well, that might be the case, because if you guys have seen some of the salaries of these department heads,
Sure.
it's a little excessive.
It's a big stretch.
It really is.
It's a
And
really big stretch.
the situation with the trash cards, I feel that was implemented so that they could charge more fees. If you guys look up what San Antonio is doing right now, it's called pay as you throw. And there's just this, 3 or 4 phase, I don't know a lot about it, I researched it a little bit. But it's this 3 or 4 phase program where they give you the trash card, and then it's another thing, and then they give you a recycling card, and then they expect you to sort out your trash. And if you don't sort it out the right way, then you get another fee on your bill. And if somebody comes by and dumps something in the wrong container, somebody just driving down the road, people do that here. That's a big deal here, the illegal dumping. Somebody's trash can next door is full, so they go throw something in your recycling bin because yours is full also, or whatever the situation may be. This is, Mike could probably tell you more about it than I could, but it's basically a way for them to make money, to make more money on top of everything
The bill's
else.
going to go from, right now we pay 15, I believe, for solid waste. In San Antonio, it's almost $80 if you don't sort your trash. And I think the big picture here is, and we've talked about this, she knows, is that this is their plan B if they put that tax cap in place. Because they're going to lose millions. So this is their replacement for that tax cap. And if you look at some of the other stuff they've done, you ought to talk about the recent thing where they applied for the $28 million for electronic meters, and you talk about losing jobs.
Sure.
And then another thing she kind of sold herself short on is every state representative had a flyer of hers because they looked at her flyer about the vet school, and they're breaking the law with that vet school. You ought to talk about that.
Well, I'll get into that at a different time just because it's a lengthy discussion, but I did speak to representatives about that as well. I feel that that's something that's, it's something that was brought on at the taxpayer's expense. They're using tax dollars to fund this. They're reporting it as a gift, and that it's a donation, to build this vet school, when in reality it's tax money that's collected by the ABC is what it is. That's a whole other story. I'll go into that at a different time. But these trash cards, I don't think that they're practical due to the conditions of the weather here, and I don't think that it was more efficient by any means having to stop at, 3 times as many houses rather than, 3 houses sharing a dumpster. Now we've got to stop at every single one, and now
And
we're
you have
out
to
in
go
the middle
2
of the
directions.
street.
You have to go down one side of the street and come back the other side of the
Right.
street. Whereas in
And
an alley, you pick it up one way.
Right, and
It's
as
a more
far as
efficient
the
process.
easement thing is concerned, I did hear that conversation, and I'm gonna call baloney on that. They've been doing it all these years. They just wanna find a reason to implement the trash cards throughout the city. So, there's a lot of issues, and a lot of elements to my platform. If you guys look up my Facebook, it's Claudette Smith for mayor. You guys will be able to see videos that I've made every Thursday, and I talk a lot about the issues and a lot about my platform. There's actually a little bar on the side there that says issues, and that it lists a lot of my platform there. So if you guys want some more information about what I'm about, you're welcome to go visit that, and my website should be up pretty soon, and I'll be posting all that information on my Facebook.
What's your Facebook?
Claudette Smith for mayor.
Well, thank you guys. Very informative.